sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
All right, so we're diving into Liverpool's 2-1 win against Wolves this weekend. On the surface, yeah, a win is a win. You got the 3 points. But I think this one, had a bit of a different flavor to it, right?
Yeah, definitely, especially coming off of that Everton draw.
Yeah. And we've got a couple articles here summarizing kind of the post-match comments from both the manager, Arne Slot, and defender, Andy Robertson. But before we even get into that, I mean, that Everton match, it has to be playing on everyone's minds. I mean, you dominate a match like that.
Totally.
And then you concede in the last minute.
Yeah.
I mean, that just has to be such a mental blow, especially when you're at the top of the table.
It's just such a momentum killer, too.
Yeah.
When you're on that kind of a run and you're looking to just keep building and building.
Right.
And then, boom, it's like you hit a wall.
Yeah, and this wasn't a 4-0 drubbing of Wolves.
Right.
It was, you grind out a 2-1 result.
Yeah, exactly. And I think sometimes those kind of wins, those gritty wins, actually tell you more about a team than the 4-0 blowouts.
Yeah.
And just looking at like Slot's initial comments, you can almost hear the relief in his voice. He's like, phew, we got through that.
He was definitely carrying the weight of that Everton result. I mean, he even mentioned specifically the frustration from that match. So he's definitely making it clear this was about more than just the 3 points,
Absolutely. Yeah. He's highlighting the mental strength that it took to get this win.
And so he keeps using this word mentality. What does that, what does that actually mean in practical terms?
I think a good way to look at it is think about a season like a marathon, not a sprint. So you're going to have days where everything's clicking,
Right.
You're unstoppable.
Right.
But then you're also going to have days where you're just slogging through mud and you're just trying to get to that next mile marker.
Right.
And the teams that can win on both of those days are the ones that, ultimately lift the trophy.
Okay, so I'm starting to see the bigger picture. So it's not just about playing beautiful football. It's about, having that grit to pull through, even when you're not playing your best.
Yep. And that's what makes a team, truly dangerous.
Right.
Because if you're facing Liverpool and they can beat you by just dismantling you.
Right.
But they can also beat you by just outlasting you.
Right.
That's scary. That's like two completely different weapons in their arsenal.
Totally.
So you don't really know what to prepare for.
Right. So this match wasn't just about, getting those 3 points. It's about sending a message that, hey, even when we're not playing our best, we can still get it done.
Exactly. And it's a long season, You're not gonna play your best every single week.
Right.
So you got to find ways to grind out results.
Yeah. But it wasn't all smooth sailing, right? I mean, there was a couple moments where,
Oh, for sure.
things could have gone very differently.
Totally.
We had that disallowed third goal for Liverpool, overturned penalty decision, and both of those slots said, look, those were the correct calls.
Right.
But still, moments like that, I feel like can just completely deflate a team.
Yeah, it can take the wind right out of your sails.
Yeah.
And
then right on the heels of that, Wolves scores a goal. Matheus Cunha puts it in the back of the net. So really, like a test of their resilience. Right?
Oh, huge. Yeah.
You're down, you just had these 2 calls go against you, and then you concede. So how do you respond?
Yeah. How do you bounce back from that?
Yeah. And we're talking about this resilience. It's, I think, Slot's substitution of Ibrahima Konate at halftime is really interesting because he wasn't injured.
Right.
He got an early yellow card.
Yeah.
And Slot just said, okay, you know what? I'm going to protect him from a potential red card.
Smart move.
Yeah. So he brings in Jarell Kwanzaa. And actually, Slot's been pretty vocal about, Kwanzaa getting back to kind of his old strong form.
Interesting, yeah.
So you've got the manager kind of like thinking multiple steps ahead, not just reacting to what's happening on the pitch, but okay, what could happen? How do I mitigate those risks?
Yeah, that's a manager thinking like a chess player, right?
Yeah.
Thinking 3-4 moves ahead.
Yeah.
And especially against a team like Wolves,
yeah,
who's known to be very physical, keeping a cool head.
Right.
Avoiding those red cards is absolutely crucial.
Yeah. And then to add on top of that, they were missing Cody Gakpo.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Due to an injury from that Everton game.
Yep.
And Slot actually said his availability for the next match is under debate.
Wow.
So Gakpo, who's been kind of a rising star for Liverpool, not available.
Yeah, he's really made an impact since he's come in.
Yeah.
So I'm sure, that his absence is definitely felt.
And you start to think about, all of those factors.
Yeah.
The weight of the Everton result, these couple close calls with the disallowed goals. Now you lose a key player to injury. It's a lot to handle.
It is.
And it really makes this win against Wolves even more.
Oh, absolutely.
Impressive.
Yeah.
So you're seeing this theme of mental strength playing out on multiple levels, right? From Slot's decision-making to, how the players are performing on the pitch.
Yeah.
It's like they're consciously choosing grit over flair in this match.
They had to dig deep,
Yeah.
They had to really grind this one out. And that's a testament to their character, I think.
Yeah. It's really interesting how, this kind of win reveals so much about the team's inner workings. And it's not just Slot's perspective, right? We have Andy Robertson's comments, too.
Yeah.
What's he saying about this win?
Yeah, he doesn't say too much, but he says we had to dig deep, but it's a big result for us, Short and sweet.
Yeah.
But I think it says a lot.
Right.
Because they know this wasn't their best performance.
Right.
But they're not downplaying it either,
Right. They're acknowledging the struggle.
Yeah.
And that almost makes the achievement more
I think so, yeah.
meaningful. Right. It's like embracing the ground.
Yeah.
Does that give you a psychological advantage, do you think?
I think it could, yeah. Because again, if you're going up against Liverpool and that not only can they just, outplay you,
right,
but they can also just outlast you.
Right.
Like that's a tough combination to deal with.
It really is. It's like we can beat you with beauty or we can beat you with grit. Take your pick.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it does make me wonder, like, is this kind of mentality sustainable over a whole season? Doesn't that take a tail?
I think that's the question, right? Like, how do you maintain that level of intensity? And Slot actually kind of dismissed fatigue as an excuse. He even kind of referenced back to that Everton game and said, look, we were still pressing and fighting in the last second of that match. But I think there's a difference between physical fatigue and mental fatigue. Right? Like the constant pressure to perform, the near win, the controversial calls, like all of that can weigh on you, even if physically you're feeling good.
Right. It's like that saying, it's not the load that breaks you down, it's the way you carry it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And maybe that's what we're seeing here, right? The weight of expectations, the intensity of each match. It's a heavy load to carry, even for a team as talented as Liverpool.
For sure.
But, Slot seems confident that they can handle it. What do you think is his secret weapon?
I think it comes down to, a manager isn't just a tactician.
Right.
They're also a psychologist, a motivator, a leader.
Right.
And Slot has to be able to read his team, recognize where they're starting to feel that pressure. Right. And find ways to keep them focused. Yeah. Keep them motivated.
So it's about creating that sense of belief. Yeah. Of unity, of fostering a culture where players feel supported, where they know they can kind of push themselves to the limit, knowing that we have each other's backs.
Yep. And that's what you see with all the great teams. Yeah. It's not just about the individual talent. Right. It's about that collective spirit, that shared commitment to a common goal. Yeah. And when you have that, you can overcome.
It's amazing.
Pretty much anything.
Yeah. Yeah. How we started by analyzing a 2-1 win. Right. And now we're talking about, mental toughness and leadership and the power of a unified team.
It's all connected,
Yeah, it really is.
The mental side of the game is just as important as the physical side.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this actually reminds me of a time when okay, so we've gone pretty deep on the mental side of things. Yeah. But, I mean, let's get into some of the tactical decisions. Right. Are there any moments from the match that kind of stand out to you?
Well, we got to talk about that Konate substitution at halftime. Yeah. I mean, on the surface, you're taking off one of your key defenders. Right. But I think Slot was really playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers there.
Right. He's got that yellow card. Yeah. A second yellow means a red. You're playing a man down. Exactly. But tactically bringing in Kwanzaa. How did that change things,
Well, I mean, you think about the different qualities that each player brings. Right. Konate is like your rock. Yeah. He's dominant in the air. Right. Great one-on-one defending. Whereas Kwanzaa, he's known for his speed, his ability to read the game.
Okay.
Intercept passes, break up attacks before they even develop.
So maybe Slot's seeing an opportunity to kind of shift the tactics a little bit.
Could be.
Use Kwanzaa's strengths to counter what Wolves are doing.
Exactly.
That's
thinking ahead. That's high-level management right there.
And it's not just the substitution. Slot's been really, praising Kwanzaa in the post-match comments, talking about how he's gotten back to his old form.
Interesting. Yeah, because I know he's had a little bit of a dip in form recently.
Yeah, but I feel like that confidence from a manager,
huge.
can make all the difference.
Oh, absolutely.
For a player.
Yeah, sometimes all you need is just that little bit of, a pat on the back or just that belief from your manager.
Right.
To really kind of, unlock your potential.
But speaking of players who can change a game.
Yeah.
Well, we can't ignore the, elephant not in the room.
Right.
Cody Gakpo.
Yeah.
I mean, missing him due to injury, that had to have an impact, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Gakpo has been a revelation since he joined Liverpool.
Yeah.
He's just brought, a whole new dimension to their attack.
Right.
His creativity, his movement, his eye for goal. I mean, remember those 2 goals against Everton?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just pure class. And to think, Slot even said his availability for the next match is still under debate.
It's wild. Yeah, I mean, you start to think about, how different could this match have looked?
Right.
If Gakpo's on the pitch,
Yeah. Could they have maybe, played with a little more flair?
Yeah.
More creativity?
Yeah. Is it possible to have that intensity, that grit, while also,
having those moments of magic. Yeah. I wish we knew.
Yeah, that's the question we can't answer.
Right. Yeah.
But, it also says something that they were able to get the win without him.
It does. It speaks to their depth.
Yeah.
They're not a one-man team.
Right.
They've got quality throughout the squad.
So, okay, we've talked about, the manager's decisions, the missing players, but let's give some love to the guys who were actually out there on the pitch. I mean, Luis Diaz, Mo Salah.
Doing what they do best.
Yeah, I mean, Diaz's opening goal, that was just
fantastic
Diaz, right?
Yeah.
The timing of his run, the composure in front of goal.
Clinical finish.
Yeah, and then you got Salah, I mean, always a threat, earns the penalty, converts the penalty. I mean, just a constant.
On Wolves' side.
Yeah. But I think what makes them truly dangerous is their partnership.
Right.
Their movement, their understanding.
The chemistry is undeniable.
It's like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, they just know where each other's going to be, and they make those runs, and they create space for each other.
But they're also not doing it alone, right? I mean,
no, not at all.
You've got, Fabinho in the midfield,
right,
breaking up attacks, controlling the tempo,
yep.
Henderson, the captain, just leading by example, covering every blade of grass.
Heart and soul of that team.
And then, you've got your defensive stalwarts, right? Yeah. Van Dijk commanding at the back, Alexander-Arnold dictating play from that right back position.
The foundation.
It's a team performance through and through, and I think it just shows you the importance of balance.
Right.
Yeah, you need the individual brilliance.
Of course.
But you need the collective strength.
You need it all.
That unity, that willingness to fight for each other.
Yeah.
And Liverpool seems to have it all right now.
They do.
They really do.
And that's what separates, the good teams from the great teams. It's not enough to just have the best players.
Right.
You have to have the best team.
Yeah.
And that means a team that can win eggy.
Yeah.
A team that can grind out results even when they're not playing their best. And Liverpool has shown that they can do that.
All right. So I think we've done it.
I think so.
We took a 2-1 win, what seems like a very straightforward result on the surface. And we just peeled back all these layers,
We did.
Tactical brilliance, mental fortitude, individual brilliance. And we found the story.
There's always a story.
Within the result.
Yeah.
And hopefully, the listener has gained a new appreciation, not just for this Liverpool team, but for the game itself.
Yeah, for the beauty of the game.
Yeah.
Because it's so much more than just the final score.
Yeah.
There's so much that goes into it.
It's a journey.
It is, yeah.
And we get to go on that journey every week.
Every week. And it's different every time.
Yeah.
So
until next time, keep asking those questions.
Keep digging deeper.
And we'll see you on the next deep dive.
Yeah, man.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get